Last week's historic announcement by President Obama to restore diplomatic relations between Cuba and the U.S. represents a dramatic shift in U.S.-Cuba policy and the end of a 50-year reign of acrimony. In a press conference, Obama said, "We will end an outdated approach that for decades has failed to advance our interests, and instead we will begin to normalize relations between our two countries." Food is one area that should see significant change from this new relationship. Part of Obama's announcement was for the expanded sales and exports of certain goods and services from the U.S. to Cuba. That includes agricultural products like rice and beans and butter. While U.S. farmers have been permitted to sell corn and wheat to Cuba in recent years, it's been shrouded in red tape. And for farmers, the ability to secure trade financing was very limited. For example, ag producers who want to sell to Cuba have to get cash up front from the Cuban government before shipping, and the money exchange must be handled through a third-party bank. These complications have essentially handed U.S. businesses to competitors in countries like Brazil and elsewhere. Going forward, financial restrictions will be lifted for food products. AgSec Tom Vilsack responded to the news by saying today's announcement expands opportunity for U.S. farmers and ranchers to do business in Cuba. It removes technical barriers between the two countries and creates a more efficient, less burdensome opportunity for Cuba to buy U.S. ag products. It also makes those products far more price competitive, which will expand choices for Cuban shoppers at the grocery store and create a new customer base for America's farmers. Others are also excited about the opportunities. Bill Thorson, president of the U.S. Dry Bean Council, told the Associated Press, with dry beans, dry peas, lentils, and potatoes being such big parts of the Cuban diet, it creates more opportunities for farmers in colder states, like North Dakota, though they'll still have to compete with the cheaper Chinese beans. He went on to say that if we have normalized trade relations with them and are able to do away with some of the banking regulations, I believe there's some real potential to do business with Cuba. And then there's rice. According to the U.S. Rice Federation, producers in southern states and California are hoping to resume exports to Cuba for the first time since 2008. But what about the U.S. importing from Cuba? And what about sugar? Pre-embargo, Cuba was a big exporter of goods like sugar and citrus like grapefruit. Idaho Farm Bureau spokesperson John Thompson told the Associated Press that he still sees most food benefits will be for Cuba, not for the U.S. As far as a possible trade with Cuba goes, they would have a lot more to gain from our products than we would from theirs. He went on to say that as far as sugar goes, he doesn't expect that there'll be a lot to gain from importing sugar from them. Most Cubans depend on monthly rations, limited amounts of deeply subsidized foods, of rice, beans, coffee, and a few other staples. And for the wealthier citizens, there's an active black market for more gourmet items, like blue cheese and smoked salmon. Last week's announcement starts the beginning of big changes for the Cuban food supply and should benefit U.S. ag in many, many ways. Be sure to subscribe so you'll never miss an episode, and visit supermarketguru.com for more information and more videos just like this.